And then they have cans of soup. Soup. And they throw the cans of soup. That's better than a brick because you can't throw a brick, it's too heavy. But a can of soup, you can really put some power into that, right? And then when they get caught, they say, no, this is soup from my family. They're so innocent. This is soup from my family. It's incredible. And you have people coming over with bags of soup, big bags of soup, and they lay it on the ground, and the anarchists take it and they start throwing it at our cops, at our police. And if it hits you, that's worse than a brick because it's got force. It's the perfect size. It's like made perfect. And when they get caught, they say, no, this is just soup from my family. And then the media says, this is just soup. These people are very, very innocent. They're innocent people. Running against the worst candidate in the history of presidential politics puts pressure on me. Could you imagine if I lose my whole life? What am I going to do? I'm going to say, I lost to the worst candidate in the history of politics. I'm not going to feel so good. Maybe I'll have to leave the country. I don't know.
Why attack Sanders? Why? Oh, you're getting nervous, man.
The battle of righteousness versus Satan. Yes, Satan. Because these leftists are evil.
So, Brandon, I agree.
I don't know who created Pokemon Go, but I'm trying to figure out how we get them to have Pokemon go to the polls.
And then they have cans of soup. Soup. And they throw the cans of soup.
It is time for us to do what we have been doing, and that time is every day. Every day it is time for us to agree.
I am not up to the job. And I mean that sincerely. It's not like, whoa.
Testing. Testing. Oh, I had the ending thing. The show's not ending soon. My apologies. Hello? Testing. Can you hear me? Is it on? Testing. Is this thing on? Am I audible? Am I visible? Am I visible? Am I audible? Is it on? Hello everyone, welcome to the Above It All program. 1712 of the Above It All program. Today I'm going to be doing a show. Some people would call this a program. I'm not sure. I will not be doing too long of a show today. If that's all right. I mean, if it's not all right, like, what do you do in that instance? Like, do you leave an angry comment? Well, I'll just not read it. So, I pretty much won on that discussion. So, but anyway, I did not sleep too well, so I apologize. If I'm a little out of it, today. So, I'm just kind of living my life. My body is still in pain, and I'm just living my life. So, Donald Trump, the Orange Man. Check this out. Donald Trump will now be forced to testify after bombshell Jan 6 hearing lifts lid on Capitol riot links. Oh shit. Oh shit. Can you believe that? He's got links. Whoa, wouldn't have seen that one coming. He is required to answer to those millions of Americans who votes. He wanted whose votes? Motherfuckers can't fucking spell for shit. Americans who votes he wanted to throw... Come on now. Whose votes he wanted to throw out as part of his scheme to remain in power and whatever is underway to ensure this accountability under the law. Then we got faces of really ugly people. Oh God, get out of me. I scroll down and then they pop back up. Look at this. Check this out. So you got some ugly ass fucking faces, right? Like, oh, causing me physical pain. All right, let's get out of here. Oh, here they go. Gotta turn them off. Okay. Okay. The House 6 January Select Committee. Right, because they fucking... I'm reading this one of fucking like a UK outlet. The House 6 is the sixth house. I'm sorry. On Thursday, voted to issue a subpoena demanding testimony from the man whose actions have been at the century of the 9-member panel investigation over the last year. Former President Orange J. Man. Committee members unanimously approved a motion to subpoena the twice impeached ex-president at the end of the panel's 9th investigative hearing, likely the final such public session before the November midterm election. The Select Committee's chairman, Representative Benny Thompson of Mississippi, called Mr. Trump, quote, the one person at this century of the story of what happened on January 6th. I don't think that Benny Thompson would have said century, but that's just my... that doesn't sound like him. I can't envision in my mind Benny Thompson saying, "Hey, we all at the century on the 6th of January." I can't, personally, I can't imagine that. So I'm going to assume he said center. And this is some spicy editorialization. And said the panel needs to hear from him in a way that goes beyond the fact-finding it has engaged in over the last year. Quote, this is a question about accountability to the American people. He must be accountable. He is required to answer for his actions, etc. So anyway, you got subpoenaed. It's great. Can't wait to see how that goes. So, like, is it going to be like one of those private ones, where we don't get to see that shit? Like, what the fuck? Is this going to be on TV? I'd watch this. I'd buy a fucking cable subscription to watch this shit. Are you kidding me? Look at my hair. It's stuck here. So anyway, there you go. Donald Trump. Is he coming down? Going down. Woo! Just kidding. It's not. Nothing's going to happen. Doing a show here today. Hello, Andrea. Hello, Cannabis Clay. How are y'all doing? Fucking... I got a Max dog here. Maxie, hi. You want to say hello? Max dog was sleeping with me. He was on top of me. He knows that I'm all fucked up. So, he's being nice. He's being nice to me. My own dog cares that I'm unhealthy. Alright, well. My good friend Avilia grew up in Jackson, Mississippi. Benny Thompson was a family friend. Well, thanks for doxing Avilia, Mila. Now anyone watching this show is going to know more info about Avilia that they didn't know previously, so good job keeping a lid on that set. No, I'm just... oh. Got my... Let's talk about this one. Let's talk about this. This just happened this morning. I saw this morning. I woke up and I saw this shit and I was like, what? What? Alright, check this out. Oil protesters throw soup on Van Gogh's sunflower painting. There's some crazy shit. I got the video. I'm gonna show you the video. Oh, so that's the video. Let's read from the BBC, and then I'll show the video. With their statement. Footage showed two people in Just Stop Oil t-shirts opening tins, also known as cans, and throwing the contents on the masterpiece before gluing their hands to the wall. The Metropolitan Police said two people had been arrested. The gallery said the painting was covered by glass and therefore not damaged. Now, when I first saw this, I'm not going to lie. Now, Van Gogh's my favorite painter. Not going to lie. I was shocked. You know, I was shocked. But the painting's undamaged, so I say let him go. They didn't do any harm. Oh, they hurt the fucking frame. Who gives a shit about the frame? Van Gogh didn't have a fucking frame. You think he bought that expensive fucking frame? You think that poor ass bitch was like, oh shit, let me get this fucking nice ass frame? He didn't have that frame. I don't give a fuck about the frame. The frame fucking sucks. Anyway, a statement from the Trafalgar Square venue said, at just after 11 a.m. this morning, two people entered room 43 at the National Gallery. 11 a.m. this morning, my friend, it's 10 a.m. right now. How could this be at 11 a.m. this morning when it's 10 a.m. as I'm reading this? You know? No, I'm just joking. I know about time zones. The pair appear to glue themselves to the wall adjacent to Van Gogh's Sunflowers 1888. They also threw a red substance, what appears to be tomato soup, over the painting. The room was cleared of visitors and the police were called. Officers are now on the scene. There is some minor damage to the frame, but the painting is unharmed. Two people have been arrested. The painting's unharmed. Who cares? Now, I gotta say, if they would have fucked up the painting, I would have been like, come on, can't you fucking fuck around on some other guy's fucking shit? What did Vincent do to deserve this? Anyway, got a video here. Somewhere in this thread, I think. Did I scroll past it? Anyway, here's the video. Just, you know, they threw it on there. And they super glued themselves. Which is like, you can tell they're freaking out. We gotta get this glue on our hands, you know? No, I mean, I support the protest. I mean, they're obviously protesting in favor of getting off of oil. Can enjoy Vincent van Gogh's paintings if our world burns into a crisp. So, I agree with that. But I mean, like, does it have to be Vincent? Like, look at these other shitty ass, like, I mean, like, look, there's more shitty ass paintings you can fuck with, you know, man? You know? But anyway. So there you go. I support the protest. They only fucked up the frame. I don't care about the frame, so, there you go. That's all I have to say on that subject, but I support him. Goddamn. Fucking Van Gogh. Yeah, so today's show will be a little low energy. Today's a bad day for me. I mean, on every front, today's a bad day for me. It's not a good day. I'm injured. I didn't sleep well. I'm in physical decline. I'm in mental decline. I'm in, I don't know, I'm in multiple forms of decline. Cognitive decline. You know? So I'm just not having a good day today. So I'm just throwing that out there. Throwing it like those motherfuckers threw that tomato soup. So there you go. It's a goddamn... I want to see some Van Gogh paintings. At some point. Does anyone want to go to the fucking Van Gogh Museum? Go look at some goddamn art? That's going to be where the first Above It All meetup will be. We're going to go meet up at the fucking Van Gogh Institute. Check out some cool shit. That would be great. Van Gogh is how people pronounce it if they've got a low IQ. Like, Van Gogh, more like Van Gogh, read a single fucking goddamn biography on this motherfucker for once in your goddamn life, you piece of goddamn shit. Am I right? Andrew Kohler, back me up here. Anyway. Alright, so we got another, like, I should have covered this yesterday, but I was feeling like shit yesterday. I mean, I'm feeling like shit today, but fuck it. Fuck it. So, as we all know, anyone in my audience is aware of this. We talk about it all the time on the show. AOC is the architect of World War III. We know that. We know that for a fact. Obviously, she voted to fund Ukrainian Nazis, which, you know, even though it's only about 1 to 2% of the National Guard, is the most important thing imaginable. And we also know that AOC was secretly working behind the scenes with the deep state, the CIA, the FBI. They're all working with AOC. AOC is basically, she is the architect of World War III. Now you might be thinking, World War III hasn't even happened yet. Well, depends. You know, I personally, we're in World War III, right? We're in it right now. So anyway, let's watch this like really interesting clip. This is a very interesting clip. And I've got AOC's response here lined up, and it's going to be great. So AOC is pro-war. She is a war hawk. She loves war. I think she like plays on, she has like an Instagram or whatever, and on her Instagram what she does is she like paints Warhammer figures and like describes like how much she wishes she could go to war in real life. She's just a huge fan of war, right? She watches Save It and Private Ryan like at least 3 times a week. She loves war. She's a huge fan. So anyway, here's some folks. I love how this is called, by the way. Democratic Rep. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez confronted by anti-war protesters. I mean, like, that's the thing with language, right? Like, we don't have a standardized set of language in this country, in the world. There is not a single language that exists that actually can convey information properly from one group to another, right? Like, to be very serious on this one, to stop with the jokes a little bit, in no way, shape, or form are these protesters anti-war protesters. You know, like, that's not a thing. Okay, I'm sorry. These people this is militant disinformation that they've been the victims of. Right now, again, these people are linked to some neo-Nazi organization that is hosting some event to, I don't know, some event to, like, stop climate action or some shit. Like, I don't know. I didn't look into it too much, I will be honest. Someone sent me some info dump that they're connected to, like, it's a literal fascist event. They've got, like, Tucker Carlson adjacent, you know, like, right-wing Trumpers. Like, they name-drop Tulsi Gabbard, right? These are not by no stretch of any definition of any word that means anything even slightly synonymous with war, are these people anti-war in any capacity. So with that being said, let's watch this clip, because it's entertaining. It's pretty good. Let's watch.
Congresswoman, none of this matters unless there's a nuclear war, which you voted to send arms and weapons to Ukraine.
So first of all, like, you know, my opinion, okay, I understand you're heated, right? You're excited, right? And you can't really facilitate the collection of words that would make an English sentence, right? But, like, I love how, like, but, like, you know, you'd think your opening salvo would be, like, practiced. You'd think you know what you're going to say before you start, right? Like, I get it. You're in the middle of a heated exchange. You know, you fumble on your words. That's fine. But, like, just, like, the first couple of words and sentences out of this guy's mouth doesn't really, like, it doesn't make any sense. Okay, check this out.
Congresswoman, none of this matters unless there's a nuclear war.
So none of this matters unless there's a nuclear war? Now, again, what they're talking about is, according to AOC, they're talking about, I don't know, something to do with, like, community outreach. I don't know. But none of this matters unless there's a nuclear war? Like, I don't know, man. Stumble over your words a little bit. And then, like, the non sequitur. So nothing matters unless there's a nuclear war? Is that them advocating in favor of a nuclear war? I'm not sure. But let's keep going.
Which you voted to send arms and weapons to Ukraine. Tulsi Gabbard, she's left.
So, okay, that's the thing that's great. Okay, so she voted to send arms and weapons to Ukraine. Okay. And then Tulsi Gabbard. What? What? Like, again, you'd think if you were sincerely anti-war, right? If you actually gave a shit about stopping the war, like, you wouldn't be fucking name-dropping Tulsi Gabbard, right? Like, I don't know, man. Like, really, these people are uneducated. And I'll get into why momentarily. But let's keep going. We're only 10 seconds in, so let's.
Left the Democratic Party because they're a bunch of war hawks. Okay, you originally voted. You ran as an outsider.
So okay, she left the Democratic Party because they're war hawks. Okay. Well, Tulsi Gabbard right now is campaigning for some, like, neo-Nazi Trump candidate in, like, New Hampshire right now. So if she were, like, leaving the Democratic Party and then, like, shunning the Republican Party, right, and saying, like, both of these parties are corrupt, we gotta end the duopoly, I'd at least, like, take her more seriously. But the fact that she's going out there and campaigning for Republicans, which are worse on the war, they are worse. They want a more direct engagement in every conflict. They want to start more wars. You know what I mean? So, and now again, if you want to criticize AOC for voting for Ukrainian weapon package, you can do that without supporting a right winger who's even more like Tulsi Gabbard loves to pretend like she's anti-war, right? And then she goes around and supports, like, a fucking, like, fascist in India, right? That's, like, waging some, like, cultural fucking genocide going on in India. But she's anti-war. I'm anti-war. You know, I'm anti-war, except, you know, I support countries having a war on their own citizens, you know? So, I don't know. It's a little strange. But anyway, again, this is less about Tulsi and more about these fucking morons. Like, again, I really need you to understand there is militant disinformation. That's what this is, right? This is militant disinformation. This is like disinformation that gets people triggered and really upset and willing to do things over shit that doesn't exist and isn't real, right? Like the idea of voting for a Ukrainian defense package, being equivalent to starting World War III. That's crazy shit. Crazy shit. Again, let's keep going.
Yet you've been voting to start this war in Ukraine.
There has been 0 votes that AOC has cast that starts a war with the United States and Ukraine in Russia. That has not happened. There are 0 votes that AOC has cast that started a war between Ukraine and Russia. They don't exist. Now again, you can disagree with the defensive weapons packages. That's fine. I disagree with you. I think it's perfectly okay to send people defensive weapons. If we were to send defensive weapon packages to Hamas in Palestine, I would support that. So, I don't know, man. Just throwing that out there. But if we were to send defensive weapons packages to indigenous populations in Brazil that are getting their lands destroyed by wildfires, with Bolsonaro's contracted private development firms, you know what I mean? So, hey, I support defensive weapons in general. I love supporting defensive weapons. I think self-defense is one of the best things in the world. That's my opinion. But let's keep going.
Voting to start a third nuclear war with Russia and China.
So a third nuclear war. Now, to my understanding, the only nuclear war we've had was World War II. So unless maybe the Cold War counts, is the Cold War a nuclear war? It's just that we didn't drop any nukes, but it was a nuclear war. You can make the debate, but a third nuclear war? What? And again, when did AOC, what package is this vote to start a third nuclear war? Like, I don't know, man. Like, that's the thing. Like, what are these people talking about? Like, she voted on a defensive weapons package. Now, again, if you don't like that, okay. But, like, you cannot like that without lying about. Like, she did not vote on the act. The U.S. is going to support Ukraine so that we can weaken Russia and then bomb them to hell act. She did not vote yes on that. I don't even think that act exists.
Why are you playing with the lives of American citizens? You're playing with our lives. There will be no neighbors if there's a nuclear bomb. You voted to mobilize and send money to Ukrainian Nazis. You're a coward.
So Ukrainian Nazis, again, again, I need you to understand about militant disinformation. This is militant disinformation, right? Ukrainian Nazis is like saying, oh, well, there's terrorists in Palestine. So, Israel's the good guy. Because someone in Hamas, used a child as a body shield. And so that makes Israel the good guys. They're going in to denazify Palestine. What? That's like saying, oh, well, the Taliban's really bad, so I support the U.S. invasion of Iraq and Afghanistan and support killing 1 million innocent civilians because the Taliban's bad? Yeah. The Taliban is so bad that let's go in there and murder a bunch of kids and civilians because the Taliban. Woo! Again, we have the numbers on this. The Azov Battalion is 2%. 2% of the National Guard. Now, is it a bad thing that the National Guard has open neo-Nazis in it? Yeah. Yeah, it is a bad thing. That sucks that the Ukrainian military has neo-Nazis in it. But guess what? By percentage points, the Russian military and the Russian military's contracted private military groups that it uses in this war, percentage-wise, more Nazis in the Russian military. The Russian military is also bigger in population. There are more numbers in the Russian military, right? So not only is the percentage share of Nazis in the Russian military larger, but the amount of people in the Russian military is larger. There are more Nazis in the Russian military than there are in the Ukrainian military. Now, again, does it suck? Absolutely. If I was in Congress, I would have wanted to vote for something that specifically tries to say Azov Battalion cannot gain access to this stuff. That's what I would say. So that's a criticism. Okay, we can criticize that. That said, to talk about how giving money to Ukraine is giving money to Nazis is just wrong. We have Nazis in our National Guard. Every country has Nazis in their military. You want to know why? The military is inherently a right-wing institution. A lot of right-wingers and Nazis go to the military because they think it's cool. So, look at what went on in Italy. Someone who praised Mussolini just won the election in Italy. Should we go invade Italy now because there's Nazis in the government? Like, I don't know what the argument is, right? Like there's 2% of the military has neo-Nazis in it. That's a problem. That's bad. They should eliminate those members of the military. That said, just because and again, 2%, I'm going to be honest with you, 2%, that's low as fuck. Look at the American military. If you want to ask me a question, how many Nazis are in the American military? I would guess a lot more than 2%. I would guess a lot more than 2%. If you wanted me to guess how many Nazis are police officers in the US, I would guess way bigger than 2%. Right? So, again, it's a problem. It's bad. Should we have designed the packages in a way that the Azov battalion guys didn't get a large amount of the weapons? Sure. I can agree with that. But guess what? None of that is being said by these motherfuckers, right? These stupid motherfuckers, again, are militantly disinformed. They're just saying whatever was in the latest Putin speech. And I know these motherfuckers, these crybaby bitches, these baby back, bitch ass, crybaby fucking beta male fuck faces get so triggered when you call them like Russian disinformation agents, right? Oh, I'm so triggered when you call me a Russian bot. Bro, you act like a Russian bot. This is a Putin speech. Like, you're just giving a Putin speech. It would be like if you went to like fucking somewhere in like Iraq and was like, you got weapons of mass destruction, bro. Like, and then you shot like some random 6-year-old or something. Like militantly disinformed. Like, you are yelling at the wrong people about something that doesn't even exist. That someone who's even worse than what you're trying to, like, everything you're trying to say about AOC, the guy you're getting your info from is way worse. You know what I mean? Like, so I just, dumb motherfuckers.
You're a progressive socialist. Where are you against the war mobilization? He's telling the right truth. You have done nothing. Tulsi Gabbard has shown guts.
Tulsi Gabbard, I got news for y'all. These guys, they might not know this. Tulsi Gabbard, not in Congress. She gave up. She left. She's not in Congress. So how could she show guts? She's not there. Now, again, when I use the term militant disinformation, right? That's what this is. Like, these guys are doing something. Let's be honest. What these guys are doing is extremely brave. It is. Regardless of whether or not you agree with them. They are extremely brave. Getting up in the middle of a meeting like this and yelling at a politician, it's brave. Right? I'm not going to lie. That's brave. And it sucks that they're doing something like this that is such a brave action for no reason. Like, it would be like if I got up at an AOC fucking, constituency event and started screaming, you said that you liked cornflakes and I personally prefer Lucky Charms and I think that, it would be brave to get up there and scream, at an event where you're obviously not supposed to do that. But, you should scream about something that matters. Instead they're just, saying whatever, Vladimir Putin said in the last speech, just going there and screaming about nothing. And again, it gets even worse. It really gets even worse. The longer that they go on, the dumber that they get. So check this out.
You've shown cowardice. I believed in you, and you became the very thing you sought to fight against. That's what you've become. You are the establishment, and you are the reason why everybody will end up in a nuclear war unless...
You are the reason... So, okay. How is AOC the establishment? Let's follow the logic of this argument. So, argument is that AOC is part of the establishment and therefore is responsible for nuclear war. So how is AOC part of the establishment? She voted for defensive weapon shipments. That makes her part of the establishment. And being part of the establishment means that AOC is an architect of nuclear war? Like, what? What? What?
You choose to stand up right now and denounce the Democratic Party. Will you do that? Yes or no? Okay, simple. Are you going to stop nuclear war? Yes or no?
I love this. Like, this is this guy's idea. This is this guy's idea of owning a politician. Are you going to stop nuclear war? Like, what is AOC supposed to say? Yeah, I'm going to go out there, I'm going to put on my cape, fly through the sky, and stop the nuclear war. Like, and again, but these guys, they genuinely, they went down some fucking right-wing pipeline, right? And they literally, they think that they're, like, speaking up for, like, people. Like, I got news for you. I got news. This, like, weird, like this, like, pretending to be a left-winger while saying a bunch of right-wing talking points grift, like the Tulsi Gabbard, the Jimmy Dore, right, the Gray Zone, like all these people. This weird thing where you use, like, left-wing language but make right-wing arguments. Like, that is a very, like, small actual part of the population, right? There is a large amount of the population that don't give a fuck and that know nothing, right? That is the majority of people, right? I would say the second biggest group are liberals, you know, that are nominally in favor of decent things but haven't really looked into stuff. I would say the third biggest group are Republicans. They just hate, they're bigots, right? Every Republican is a racist. That's factual. Cry about it. Every Republican is a homophobic bigot, transphobic bigot. They're all garbage, okay? That, I would say, is probably the third most popular group in the United States. It sucks that that's the case, but it is. Like, I wouldn't even say that this group is the fourth, fifth, or sixth. This is an extremely small fucking group of people that, like, care about dressing up right-wing arguments in a left-wing language. That is an extremely small group of people, right? That is a very small group of people. Why is that? Why is that a small group of people? Because these people needed to undergo a specific political transformation that is extremely rare, right? What they needed to do was get into politics at a time when Bernie Sanders was popular, right? These are not old school leftists, you know, like, these are kids in this clip. These are fucking, like, people my age, right? These are not people that were, like, left-wingers in the 1970s, right? Like, so Bernie Sanders runs for president in 2016. They probably go like, oh, that's great. Tulsi Gabbard, right, supports Bernie in 2016 because it's a pretty easy choice. You're telling me Tulsi Gabbard is brave for choosing Bernie over Hillary? That's an easy choice. Anyone under the age of fucking 60 could have seen that as a career move. Like, that shows nothing. Like, I know people, like, think that Tulsi is, like, some brave hero for endorsing Sanders in 2016. That's a duh. That's a duh. Like, she's pretty young. You have to understand, Tulsi is relatively young compared to a lot of Democratic politicians. It's a duh to go with Sanders over Hillary. That's a duh, right? You don't need, like, if blatant career opportunity, it's an easy choice. Okay, so let's throw that in. But again, so these people were left-wingers at one point, right? And so that's why their political transformation is so specific, and that's why it's so unpopular, right? Most people don't become left-wingers and then slowly morph into right-wingers, but still use leftist language. Most people are either leftist, they don't give a fuck, they're liberals, or they're racists. Those are the main groups, right? But this is like this weird, like, you know, like they're playing around with all the color paint, right? And they're like trying to make a new color kind of shit, right? And it's so unpopular and almost everyone tunes out that, again, but yet they're so passionate about it. Like, that's the thing. Like, they're so passionate about doing nothing. Like, they're not doing anything. AOC is not the architect of World War. Like, she's not. I'm sorry. Like, I don't know, go after Chuck Schumer. Chuck Schumer is the Senate Majority Leader. He's in New York. You don't have to fly to California to go harass Pelosi or some shit. Go harass Chuck Schumer. That's the thing. Harassing AOC over this, like, what are they... What the fuck? What the fuck?
There is no line because this is bullshit. None of this matters if we're all dead. None of it. You know that. Then let's take it up right now because this is the only thing that matters. This is the only thing that matters right now. We could be in a nuclear war at any minute and you continue to fund it. That's what's going on.
So once again, if the only thing that matters is nuclear war, I would not be going to an AOC event. I would be going to Washington, D.C. I would be going to Chuck Schumer's events. I'd be going to Nancy Pelosi, but obviously she does stuff in California, right? So, like, I don't know, really, these, like, this is like the logical extension of like the force the vote stuff, right? Right, like, this is someone that was watching Jimmy Dore, saw Force the Vote, and was like, oh, AOC has all this power that she's secretly not using. And then that becomes part of the mythology. Like, one of the core tenets of fascism is, like, obsession with a narrative, obsession with a mythology, right? Like, every action that these, like, grifters use and do and perform, all of it's performative, all of it's theater, like Tulsi Gabbard doing this, like, podcast show about leaving the Democratic Party, the Force the Vote bullshit, all of these, like, fake events, right? What it does is it builds up a core mythology, right? A story that these people are being told and that they're telling themselves and that they want to participate in. They want to participate in, like, a historical story, right? That, like, they think that they're going to be participants in this story and it's going to, like, change something, or they're going to be proven right in some way, right? But ultimately, none of this matters, right? Like, that's the thing with, like, the Force to Vote people. Like, I get people coming to my chat room going, like, oh, Force to Vote was correct, and we're seeing that now. And it's like, okay, let's imagine Force to Vote is correct. It would have to be anything to be correct at, right? Like, it really wasn't anything to be correct. And, like, that's like saying, like, I made orange juice for breakfast. Correct. What? I mean, like, what is that being correct? It's just like, so there's not even, like, a correct or incorrect thing, right? So, but anyway, and so, like, again, but it doesn't mean anything. Okay, let's assume Force the Vote, whatever this means to be correct, it's correct. Okay, now what? Okay, Force the Vote's correct. Now what? All right, AOC is the architect of nuclear war. Now what? What do we do with this information? How do we act on this information? Right? You know, like...
Why not right now?
So AOC here, it's hard to see her or hear her, but this is what she's trying to say. The worst part, which of course they cut from the clip, is the fact that they were yelling over a deaf constituent asking a question and continued to do so when it was made clear to them that they were yelling over a person with a disability. Now, everyone and their fucking mothers crying, identity politics, identity politics. Like, yeah, caring about what deaf people might want is identity politics. Oh.
You're the liar here. Nobody has held you accountable.
So again, first of all, what has AOC lied about? What is the lie? Like, if she's voting to fund nuclear war, like, she would have to say that she's not voting to fund nuclear war. But then that would make her lie. What has she lied about? But again, this is another one, holding you accountable. This is like a phrase that people use all over the place, not just with politicians, but with all kinds of people. Right? People love, and again, it goes with the fascist obsession with the narrative, the fascist obsession with mythology. Oh, we're not harassing people, we're holding them accountable. What does that mean? What does it mean to hold someone accountable? Yelling at them in a public place, is that holding them accountable? Like, again, these phrases, this is what I talk about the English language on my show. Part one, there is no such thing as holding someone accountable. You either can or can't. And you know what the core factor is here? Is the person. In order for someone to be held to account, to be held accountable, what they need to do is listen to your argument, agree with your argument, and change their perspective. Right? That would be holding someone to account. That would be holding them accountable. Right? When you're not making an argument, you can't really hold someone accountable because they can't agree with something because you're not making an argument. Right? But again, they're obsessed with it because they think that it's like I guarantee you, right? These motherfuckers, I guarantee you they are basking in their media coverage. We held AOC accountable. They're going to go on the Jimmy Dore show. Yeah, when we held her accountable, we were the first people to... Like, this is part of their story. They're going to be telling this shit to their grandkids. That time we held AOC accountable. You know what I mean? Like, but like, what does that mean? Like, what does it mean? Like, is anyone ever going to have a conversation about what it means to hold someone to account? Like, great. No one's held AOC accountable until now. Now she's been held accountable. Now what?
That's what's happening. And it is time for you to stand up and realize that what you've been saying has been lies. Let your conscience come through for once.
And this guy is going to come up. And then that guy's going to come up and say, all right, we've had enough here. We've had enough. Bye-bye. I don't know, man. Like, again, like, the world, like, we just have some stupid motherfuckers running around this world, let me tell you. I really don't have much else to say on this subject, but some really stupid motherfuckers. But once again, to go on about militant disinformation, right? And it's the fascist obsession with the narrative, right? It's the fascist obsession with mythology. It's building the story. They want to build a story, right? And that's why this group is so unpopular, is because their story is so, like, hyper specific, right? And then you can't really expand on it, right? Like, that's the thing. Like, it's hard to get new people into this pipeline because it requires them to have had a very specific political, like, evolution of, like, being apolitical, going into Bernie Sanders, and then going into this weird, like, left-wing language, right-wing argument grift, right? Like, you can get right-wingers to support Jimmy Dore, but they're not going to be like this brand, right? They're just going to be right-wingers, right? And so, like, that's the thing. Like, this brand, the way that they describe things, the way that they use this language is so unpopular. And, like, it's just annoying. Like, that's the other thing. It's just fucking annoying. Like, it's annoying as fuck. Like, these motherfuckers are annoying. And again, that's what, like, they're disinformed. They're just saying right-wing fucking imperialist actions. If anyone's pro-war, it's the motherfucker going out there saying Ukraine's full of Nazis. Ukraine's full of Nazis? Really? Is Russia full of Nazis? Is Germany full of Nazis? Everyone in Germany is a Nazi? Really? Everyone in Italy is a Nazi? Is everyone in Japan a fascist? Are they? I don't know. Is everyone in the USA a Nazi? The Iraq war is bad, therefore all Americans are Nazis? I don't know. Like, if that's your argument, is that some government has a bad member of the government and therefore everyone that lives in the country is evil. I mean, if that's your argument, again, it's not going to be popular. I'll tell you that much. So just throwing you out there with that one. But I invite these guys on my show. If anyone knows how to get them on my show, I would love to bring them on my show. That would be great. So there you go. There's the clip. There you go. Oh, fuck. Oh. I'm gonna do a movie review and then I'm gonna peace the fuck out, y'all. I'd like to say thank you for watching. I'm sorry if my shows are a little short right now. I am injured. I do not feel well. I'm having a bad day. So, just I'm trying my best. I want to come on here anyway. I'd prefer to just not even do a show, but whatever. I'll give you like an hour-long peek into the window, through the window of my downward spiral. But anyway, let's get into a movie review, folks. I got a fun one. So last night, I watched Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers. Yesterday, I reviewed Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. And I talked a lot about how Halloween 3 diverged from the Michael Myers story and how good it is. So, if that's interesting to you, go check that out. But anyway, we're on Halloween 4. Halloween 4 is like, there's a big gap between 3 and 4. Halloween 3 was 1982. Halloween 4 in 1988. For context, Halloween 1978. So this is the 10-year anniversary of Halloween. And they decided to bring back the series with, with the cheesy sequel trilogy. That's what this is, the cheesy sequel trilogy, 4, 5, and 6. But, like, a lot of people shit on 4, 5, and 6. A lot of people say, like, H2O was better. H2O is okay. Resurrection, my God, right? But then we got the remake and then the new, that's the whole thing. But 4, 5, and 6 really did cement this as a slasher franchise. Think about it. If they didn't go with 4, 5, and 6, would we have had a Rob Zombie remake? Maybe, right? Halloween 1 and 2 really, so we maybe be, right? But again, these are important films in my opinion. I love cheesy sequels. I love the cheesers. I watched every Nightmare on Elm Street at the start of this marathon here. And, I love cheesy sequels, so I love Halloween 4. I love Halloween 4. This is a great fucking movie. I don't know what to tell you. So this movie takes place 10 years after the first movie. Laurie Strode, Jamie Lee Curtis, is gone. She's dead. Something happened. She died, right? But she, like, I don't know. I guess she had, like, this is like, it's like a niece of Michael Myers, right? So I guess this is her kid, but she died, and the kid is being adopted. It's unclear how she died. I think it's funny that Jamie Lee Curtis is not in Halloween 4, 5, and 6, but she's in, like, every reboot. Like, she's in H2O, right? The first reboot. Then she's in fucking Halloween, which is the sequel to Halloween. That's right. Not Halloween 2. We're talking about Halloween, the sequel to Halloween. She's in Halloween, and then she's also in Halloween, which is the sequel to Halloween, not to be confused with Halloween 2, which she is also in. But anyway, so she's dead, I guess, in this series. And then the niece. Now, again, I gotta say, this movie is great. I love the kills. The kills are all really good. The way that Michael Myers escapes and how he kills the paramedics and all that, that's all really good. I mean, it's just a great movie. It's a great slasher. I love how, like, there's, like, in the universe of Halloween 4, right, the events of Halloween 1 created, like, a mythology where people love to wear the Michael Myers masks for Halloween. Again, it's brutal, but 10 years later, a whole generation of kids, they don't really know this shit anyway. So in this movie, one of the plot lines is that there's a bunch of kids that do wear the Michael Myers mask, and it makes it so that, like, when they're trying to find them, it's really difficult. The only character to actually return from the first and second Halloween film is Loomis. Loomis is back. He's all burned up. He's all fucked up. I love the scene when Michael Myers is at, like, the gas station, the mechanical area, and he's fucking killing those guys. And then Loomis goes there, and then they see each other, and then there's, like, giant explosions. And then, like, Michael Myers drives away in a truck, and Loomis is, like, fucking... He's just walking around the fucking road, he's like a defeated man, right? Like, and then he, eventually gets a ride, and then when he gets picked up by that random guy that has, like, the sticker, I believe the Bible, and, like, that guy, that character who picked him up on the road is so funny. That was such a great scene when he was just like, that guy's talking just about some crazy shit, and then Loomis is like, all right, I gotta listen to it, so I might as well enjoy it. I love that shit. Anyway, this is a great fucking movie. At the end of the movie, Michael Myers is like lying on the ground and dead or whatever. And then the kid, the niece of Michael Myers, touches him, Jamie, and then like theoretically it passes on like the curse or the evil, and then at the end of the movie she kills her like foster mom or some shit. And one of the plot lines is that Jamie's Halloween costume is the same Halloween costume that Michael Myers had on when he killed his sister when he was a kid, right? So you know, I think this movie is fun. It's like, you know, it's the cheesy slasher trilogy. It's like, you know, it's like the Friday the 13th, the later Nightmare on Elm Streets. You know, this is the Halloween version. This is what's cemented. Like Halloween 1 and 2 are good ass fucking slasher movies. 4, 5, and 6, they're good. They're just cheesy. Like, and that's fine. And honestly, Halloween 4 is a very serious film. I mean, there's a lot of cheesy shit in it for sure, but like the tone they're going, like a lot of Friday and a lot of Elm Street, right? Like they purposefully go into the cheese verse and like they're aware of it. There's a lot of self-aware cheese in Nightmare on Elm Street and in Friday sequels, the later sequels. Halloween 4 goes in there, it tries to play it serious, doesn't play it serious the whole way through. There's a little bit of cheese, but you know what? I respect it. I think Halloween 4 is a good movie. And I'm gonna be honest. I'm looking forward to 5 and 6. Yeah, like this movie's got some good stuff. Like when Michael Myers is like, you know, chasing them in the house, and then, you know, I love the scene when Michael Myers kills the cop and he's like sitting in the chair, right? But like he's rocking the chair, and then like the babysitter goes down there, sees the silhouette rocking in the chair, assumes it's the cop and asks the cop a question, and then like a light turns on and then they see like the cop's severed head, and then Michael gets out of the chair. I love that shit, man. I love that shit. I just love Halloween 4. It's a good ass movie. Now again, 5 and 6, they go a little bit more into the cheese verse, but that's great. I love it. You know, so anyway, Halloween 4, it's good. You know, would a Halloween series have been better, franchise been better if each one was like an anthology? Maybe. That didn't happen. We don't live in that universe where John Carpenter made like 38 trillion movies all part of like one franchise. That didn't happen. He just made The Fog, he made The Thing, and then went off to go do his own shit, right? So, rip the Halloween franchise. But either way, we got Michael Myers. He's a cool villain. He's fine. And this movie is good. I like it. I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of built-in criticism for cheesy slasher that I feel the need to defend these movies, even though I don't really need to. If you like it, you like it. If you don't like it, you don't like it. It's a good movie. I like Halloween 4. Check it out. The Cheese trilogy is all on Shudder right now. AMC Plus, Shudder, 4, 5, and 6. Go check them out. And they're great films. I mean, they're just fun. They're fun. Halloween 1 and 2. A lot more serious, a lot more gritty, a lot more realistic. 4, 5, and 6, they're fucking fun. I mean, like, again, how are you going to bring Michael Myers back for another movie without it being cheesy? Like, the guy blew up in a fucking goddamn explosion. Like, I love at the start of the movie, they just have, like, some characters like, yeah, he blew up, but he survived. You know what I mean? Okay, he blew up and he survived. That's all we need to know. Who cares how he survived? Does it need to be realistic? It's a fucking movie. It's a movie. Does it need to be realistic? Do we need to have like a plot by plot, like point by point detailed plan about how he escaped the fucking explosion in Halloween 2? Who gives a fuck? He's Michael Myers, right? He's an evil fucking cursed like monster. Like, I don't know what to tell you motherfuckers. Anyway, I love Halloween 4. It's great. And that's a great movie. Go check it out. So there you go. That's my show for today. I appreciate people watching. I apologize that this week has been a little, you know, anyway, I just assume that people pay like way too much attention to me in my actions, when in reality, I don't think people like actually care that much. So I don't need to apologize all the time. But anyway, thank you for watching. That's pretty much all I got. So go watch something else. And that's all I got. Really. I mean, that's really all I got.
seriously, hot sauce. I've been eating a lot of hot sauce, a lot of raw peppers and hot sauce.
I am not up to the job. And I mean that sincerely. It's not like, whoa.
It is time for us to do what we have been doing, and that time is every day. Every day it is time for us to agree.
And by the way, I don't think that's some grand conspiracy. I think this is sort of what power is. I mean this at a sort of high level.
$7 million for reef fish management, $25 million to combat Asian carp.